All right, thanks everyone for joining us. Just a reminder that you are on mute when you come in. In order to ask a question, please use the raise hand function at the bottom of your screen under participants, and we'll go ahead and get started with those who raise their hands. All right, we'll go ahead and get started with Tracy Pearson.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, Tracy.
Good. It seemed like you went a little bit more up tempo, utilized a little bit more read option. What went into the kind of that decision without really having even seen Cal's defense?
Well, we saw Cal's defense from a year ago. The defense wasn't a mystery to us. The offense was what was going to be a mystery because they have a new coordinator. And, Justin's a defensive guy, and Coach DeRuiter and Peter Sherman have been there. So I think what we got on the defensive side of the ball, we felt we had a pretty good understanding. We played them in the last game of the year last year. They did have a bowl game after us, and we watched that game also. So our biggest concern going into the game was just what were we going to get offensively, because you had a new coordinator that was not in college last year. So we spent a lot of time watching the Broncos tape. But I think what we did is just kind of play our offense, and our players got a little bit more settled in the second game, and that's what we did. So we ran zone option last week, and Dorian had a 65-yard run last week. So, really play-wise, there wasn't a lot of difference.
Ben Bolch.
How much game prep did you alter from Utah to Cal, and take us through kind of the 48 hours before learning you were going to play them and how it unfolded?
43. I think we found and the one thing, and I think Justin felt the same way, is we both had the same amount of time. They were preparing to play Arizona State. We were preparing to play Utah. We probably had an advantage because they had to travel and we didn't have to travel. But we started Friday afternoon at 1:00, and we were fortunate. I think both teams at least understanding each other a little bit, because we played each other in the last game of the season last year, so we had those games broken down. We had to break down their Illinois game defensively, and then our on the defensive side of the ball, our guys were working on Denver Bronco tape when Coach Musgrave was the coordinator there. So really, that's kind of what our prep was. We had a walkthrough practice Friday evening. We had meetings and a walkthrough practice Friday evening. We went back as coaches and tried to, what can we run, what shouldn't we run, what's in, what's out, kind of putting the game plan together. Came back again Saturday morning and had meetings and practiced again, but really a walkthrough tempo type practice, not a really full go practice. And then we got into our normal night routine, where we have our meetings the night before the game, position, special teams, offense, defensive meetings, and then got our guys to bed, because not only were we playing in 43 hours, but we were also playing in a 9 o'clock kickoff. It was our first 9 o'clock kickoff. So just that adjustment to our schedule, which really isn't much different because we practice in the morning. So I don't think that was a huge disadvantage from any stretch of the imagination. It was just the logistics of that. So we had a bunch of guys around 5:30 in the morning passing out breakfasts in the hotel. We had a brief team meeting and then got on the buses and came up here and played.
Joe Reedy, go ahead.
Chip, in terms of maybe preparing for this, I know it was a shorter time span, but any way you can compare it to practicing for preparing for a Thursday night game when you were in the NFL?
I think we had a little similarities, and really what I think it was is, what do we do in terms of the players? What can they handle? So we did pare down our game plan. We did more taking out. We didn't add anything. We may have added something, but if we added something, it wasn't in the Utah game plan, but it was something that we've run. I think everybody has a volume of offense and a volume of defense in their library. And then you pick and choose each week what you're going to run. You're not going to run your entire offense every game. So there was a couple plays that we had in for Utah, specifically talking offense, that we did not, we took out of the game plan. And there was a couple things we added, but we didn't add anything or run anything that we had not run before, both offensively and defensively.
Adam, go ahead.
Hey, Chip, I wanted to ask just about not knowing the different opponents. How much did you study that last week? And when did sort of Cal come on your radar as a possible opponent for you guys?
Friday. Justin actually called. I talked to Justin a lot, and he asked me, I think early in the week, what do you hear from Utah? And you listen to what Mark Harlan was saying, and they kept testing negative. So, we going into Friday, we thought it was game on and we were going to play Utah here. So we had no idea, and then we were told after practice on Friday, I got back to the locker room and had missed a lot of calls. And answered that, got in touch with Martin, and he said that Utah is not coming, and then we could potentially play Cal, but Cal may play somebody else. I think it was Washington, if Oregon State can't go. So we were kind of on hold for about an hour, trying to see where it was going to go. It was either going to be a Cal game, or we weren't going to be able to play. We were going to be out, and I think Cal and Washington would have played because they were scheduled to play each other in week 1, and then if Oregon State couldn't go, but obviously Oregon State and Washington played last night. So then I think around 1:00 we officially got, that we're playing Cal. So it was okay. Let's go.
Sam Connon, go ahead.
So, Coach, you had 9 tackles for loss and 5 sacks, really active on the defensive side, but especially Caleb Johnson, Quantrez, new guys who are kind of getting behind the line. Can you just talk about what they did to kind of stay aggressive today?
I think Q Knight did exactly what he did last week and what he's done since he's been here. We're really happy that he's here. There's a certain energy and juice that he brings every day, not only to the meeting rooms and the practice field, but our players thrive off of it. He's a physical football player that's really sharp, and you can put a lot on his plate. So I think both him and then Caleb, I think you saw Caleb that we thought we were going to get here in game 2 because he was running around making some plays. And when we can get guys at the second and third level that can help on the help our front, I think it helps. It was good to see our defense play that way, especially after how we started on offense with the interception. But, they didn't blame. They responded, and I thought they did a really, really good job.
Okay, just a couple more here for Coach Tukney. Go ahead.
Coach, for the way that your team responded to this kind of strange weekend, what do you think that says about their poise and their resilience to be able to do that?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think it tells them that I think they are focused on the process and not worried about the outcome, and we don't control who we play and we don't control when we play. So let's not worry about that stuff, so, you give us an opportunity. I think, Justin felt the same way that I felt. Is we're just grateful that we get an opportunity to play. What's going on in COVID in this country right now is kind of crazy. And I don't know, what the future holds. So every opportunity you get to go play football in a safe environment, and that's the one thing we ask all the time, is that as long as it's going to be safe, then we'll go play. But I think our players understand that. They're very appreciative of the fact that they get an opportunity. We're lucky we've gotten 2 games in so far. There are teams in our league. I feel for Kyle Whittingham in Utah. He's missed 2 games. I feel for Herm and his group, and they missed a game. That's tough. I felt for Justin last week and talked to him about when they were told they couldn't play. So, and I don't know what the number was. It was 15 or so that couldn't play this week. So it's hitting everybody. It's obviously a worldwide pandemic. So we're just really grateful. And for us to lament and complain about, hey, we got to go on 2 days and play at an early morning game. I think Justin felt the same way. Just tell us where and when, and we'll play. And I joked with Justin before the game that they should stay down here, and we'll help them and take care of them. And then we could just play each other a couple times. If other games get canceled, we'll just continue to play each other. So we're just grateful that we had an opportunity to play, because with this pandemic, we don't know, and part of that then goes back to our mindset of let's just worry about the process and not be concerned with the outcome.
Last question for Coach here. James Williams, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about Britton Brown and his performance and the effort to get him the ball?
Yeah, Britton's done some really nice things. He's another newcomer that came here. And I think, we lost a great one in Josh Kelly, who's running on Sundays now. Well, actually, Britton's running on Sundays now because we played on a Sunday. So But the good part is, we needed another big back. We're always going to play multiple running backs. It's such a difficult position at the collegiate level. You got to have a couple of guys there. And I thought he was a great compliment to Felt. He's got a great mindset and attitude. He's a lot like Q Knight. We don't take a ton of transfers, but the guys that we've brought in here as transfers have been awesome, and they fit in great. They got it right. My Obi Ebo is another kid that did the same thing. All three of those guys have been fantastic. Paul in the offensive line, the same thing. They're serious about getting their degree in our graduate program, and they're really serious about playing football. So I was excited that we didn't get Britt the ball enough last week, and part of that was me as a play caller, and we got behind, so we didn't run the ball as much. But we need to be balanced and run the football, and Britt was a really good compliment to Felt today.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll let you go.
Okay, who's next?
Quantra?
Oh, yeah. Superstar. Now all of a sudden you get media stuff. All right, kid. Love you, Q. Smile. Bye, buddy.
All right, everyone, we got Quantrez Knight here. Please use the raise hand function and we will call on you to ask a question. Rashawn, go ahead.
Hey, Q. Can you just describe as best you can how bizarre this week was?
I'd say, just studying for Utah the whole week, it was quite a situation just to change over, on Friday and get ready to start playing Cal. But I tell the guys, as long as we be able to control the adversity, we'll be all right. So I just try to, just keep energy up, just focus on what we doing, what we do best. That was the main thing. With such short time to prepare, just focus on what we do best and we'll be all right.
Ben Bulch, go ahead.
You guys made a lot of negative plays. What would you say allowed you as a defense to bottle them up so effectively?
Just playing fast. I feel like this game is about who plays the fastest. And Coach Az always tells me, the vertical man wins in this game. So I try to play vertical all the time and play behind the scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage. And that's how I make the plays, and just knowing my keys.
Tukni, go ahead.
Coach Kelly mentioned you guys watching Broncos film to practice for this Cal game. How much of that, how useful was that? Any similarities that you saw during the game as it unfolded?
Yeah, actually watching the Bronco film was very useful. Being that they have a new coordinator on offense that we wasn't able to get, as much as film as we needed from Cal. But watching film on the Broncos, it was definitely situations that we was put in and that we saw actually Broncos running the same play. So yeah, that was a big help.
Mike Regalado.
Hey Q, you guys gave up 525 yards last week, only 176 against Cal this week. What can you say about the defense? Were you guys just executing better? Did you guys do any special tweaks?
Our main thing was just just getting back to what we do best. And what we do best is running to the ball, being violent, being physical, and I told the guys, we're going to play for 4 quarters. This game right here, you got to play the game for 4 quarters. And I say that throughout the game, each and every quarter, just made sure everyone stayed on their job and not get settled, just keep it going. So I guess that's what's the big difference, just playing hard for 4 quarters on all sides of the ball.
All right, last question here for Q. Rick Kimbrell, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Q. Do you think perhaps the lack of preparation time might have helped? You guys didn't have to overthink stuff. You just went out and played football?
Yeah, actually, I think it did. Like I said, we was able to just play what we do best, and what we do best is very good. So with them having the same time to prepare as us, I feel like we was in a good situation to go out there and get the job done.
All right, thanks, Quantrez.
All right, thank you. Have a nice day.
I believe we have Demetric Felton coming up next. Again, please use the raise hand function in order to ask a question. If you have a question for Demetric Felton, go ahead and use the raise hand function. And we'll start with Ben Bolch.
Dimitri, how much do you think the added mixing in of the tempo helped you guys? You guys got in a really good quarter when you scored 20 points.
I think it helped out tremendously. The way it seemed as the opposing team couldn't keep up with us. So, having the tempo just really, they had no time to, call anything, or they just didn't really know what we were doing. So it helped out a lot.
Rashawn, go ahead.
Hey, Dimitri, can you take us through your range of emotions going from hearing the game was canceled against Utah to learning that you're actually going to be able to play a game on Sunday?
It was disappointing at first because all we wanted to do is play football. But, as soon as we heard that our game time was changed, everybody was excited and we were ready to go, it is weird not having time to prepare for a team, but it just felt more natural and I honestly felt more relaxed.
Chukni, go ahead.
What would you say about the way your team kind of just rallied around this weird weekend? And obviously you guys were able to come out with a win. What do you think that says about what this team is able to do?
We love each other and we play for each other. And so we're willing to, whenever they say we got a game, we're ready to strap it up. So, it was a huge win for us and we just got to keep it going.
Joe Reedy, go ahead.
Only having a couple days to prepare, was it just one of those go out what you do best and kind of not rely on the scouting report and everything?
Pretty much. We only made a few changes to our game plan and we just went out there and played hard and played fast.
Sam, go ahead.
Hey, Dimitri. So you had 25 carries, 3 catches, 2 kick returns. It's the most touches you've ever had in a game before. Can you just talk about how you kind of want to embrace that, do it all over the field kind of role?
This is everything I've been wanting to do ever since I stepped foot at UCLA. So it just feels really good to finally be able to do that and help my teammates out and get that W.
Ben Bolch, go ahead.
You and Britton combined for 178 yards. People were asking who's going to replace Josh Kelly. Do you feel like this is a good step to show that you two have emerged and are capable of carrying that load?
Definitely. Josh was a great running back, great teammate. Love him. But, I couldn't wait for my turn, and so it just feels really good.
Robert Rios, go ahead.
Hi, yes, I would just ask, what is your reaction to how the team responded after the block punt and the interception in the first half?
We responded well. We can't let things get us down. We got to have a next play mentality. And so the way we responded was great, and I'm really proud of our guys.
Last question here for Dimitri.
When you see a lot of different teams getting their games canceled and you see those things coming down on the news, how does that affect you? Or do you get nervous about what might happen the rest of the season?
Definitely. But I know here that we're taking the right precautions and we're doing everything we can to make sure that we can play those games. And that's all I can really worry about. So just try to come every day and work hard.
All right. Thank you, Dimitri. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Up next, I believe we're getting Caleb Johnson. So again, please use the raised hand function to ask Caleb a question. Okay. Hi, Caleb.
Hi, how you doing?
Great, thank you. We'll start with Ben Bolch from the LA Times.
Can you take us through that interception, how the play developed, and on top of that, just the mentality of the defense and holding them to 176 yards?
Well, it started with, I think it was like a play action, and just dropped to my hook, and then I seen the ball. Running to the ball is something that we really preach as a defense that everyone has to do, and that ended up resulting in me being in the perfect place to pick the ball.
Sam Connon, go ahead.
Hey, Caleb. So you had 2.5 tackles for loss, a sack and a half, and then as a team, you guys picked up a bunch of those too. What role does kind of getting into the pocket behind the line of scrimmage play in your defensive game plan this week, especially?
Oh, last week we wasn't getting vertical as much, so we really preached all week. Everyone was just trying to get penetration, set the scene. Either if we don't get the tackle, safety's gonna come in and get the tackle. But we did a good job of stopping the run early, so they didn't even think about doing it no more for most of the game.
Rick, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Caleb. The defense was night and day from a week ago. What were the things that you did in practice this week that brought out this performance, and it was on such a short notice as well?
Well, we knew what we needed to do compared to last week. We knew what we needed to do, but we weren't necessarily going. I feel like we're getting more comfortable knowing our job and trusting our teammates, trusting that everyone else is going to do their job as a defense.
Robert Rios, go ahead.
I'd like to ask Cal went for it multiple times on fourth down in the second half. How important was it to get those stops in fourth down?
It was very important. I feel like that completely kills their momentum and gives our offense a lot of momentum to go and score the ball easier.
All right, 2 more here for Caleb. Mike Regalado.
Hey, Caleb. How hard was it to plan to plan most of the week for Utah and then to turn around a day and a half for Cal? Talk about that process and what you guys saw in the game tape.
Well, that was a big disappointment not to play Utah, but we just pretty much our coaches just told us we know like offense doesn't really do so many things, and we know how to read the offense, the guards, tackles. We got to trust our reads and just do what we've been drilling for a few months.
Okay, last question for Caleb or Sean.
Hey, Caleb, this week alone, you guys had a game scheduled for Friday and then Saturday, and then now here today, Sunday. How does that disrupt your routine, and what have you learned about being able to tweak your routine, throughout the rest of this season with, so much uncertainty?
It doesn't. We just got to be ready. Like when it got pushed back, it was just like, okay, that's coming tomorrow. I feel like we did a great job of like staying locked in. Like it wasn't really like a whole thing. It was just like we're not playing Utah no more, we're playing Cal, and everybody executed what they needed to do. Everyone was locked in meetings and everyone got ready.
Thanks so much for your time, Caleb. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
I believe our last student athlete up is going to be Dorian Thompson Robinson. Hi, Dorian.
What's going on?
We will start with Ben Volch.
Brian, can you talk about the change, if any, in the game plan offensively between Utah and Cal and incorporating tempo and how that helped you?
Yeah, I think Coach Kelly and the offensive staff did a great job. The biggest thing that they preach is, we only have, I think it was 43 hours to prepare. So just go out there and play football, man. I think that's the biggest thing that we did was, treat this like backyard football back in youth days and get to wake up early and just go play ball. So, yeah, like you said, tempo helped out a lot. And again, we found out early on that that was going to be a big key in this game. And so we used that to our advantage.
Sam, go ahead.
Hey, Dorian. So you had that interception in the first quarter, and then from then on, no more turnovers. What did you do after that pick to make sure it didn't turn into a slippery slope like it did last week?
Yeah, I think just, trusting the process, sticking with the plays that are called, executing that hand. and you know, really, I mean, I go into every game thinking not to turn the ball over. So, I mean, like I said, that's part of the game, and football is football. You can't really control it. The only thing you can do is move on. So, instead of letting it be a negative, you know, I decided to turn things around and get it going in the rest of the game.
Tukni, go ahead.
Dorian, you've been running quite a bit in the first two games. Obviously, that's a huge part of your skill set. But what kind of conversations do you have with the coaching staff to be able to balance between running but also keeping yourself safe? And what do they say when you are hurdling dudes in a game?
Yeah, I think the biggest conversations me and Coach Bible and Coach Kelly have, obviously, is to protect yourself. I don't think I got tackled until maybe the second or third quarter in terms of how much I was running the ball. So that's a positive. And really, it's just, you know, they're putting me in a position on defense to pull the ball and get yards. And like I said, when you drop 7 or 8 guys on defense, you know, not everybody's going to be open all the time. So you got to pull the ball down and make what happens there. So, but really just protecting yourself, protecting the ball, and keeping the chains moving.
Mike Regalado, go ahead.
Hey, Dorian. Talk about the defense and how they help you guys out. You know, they executed, they did their job, giving you guys more time on the field. You know, how much did that help you out to allow you to execute in this game?
Yeah, again, we talked about that on the sideline. 3 and outs is causing their defense to be on the field more, and they're getting tired as well. So that's, again, our defense putting in work as well as us doing tempo. It all kind of worked together today, and it was a great fit in terms of the overall game plan. So the defense did a great job.
Robert Rios, go ahead.
This game, how did it feel to be a dual threat, not just running but also passing against Cal and their defense?
Yeah, man. First and foremost, it feels great to get a win. Seems like we've been fighting for that for a long time, fighting for this feeling, and so just doing anything and everything possible to get that win and get that 1-0 up on the board now. So.
All right, 2 more here for Dorian. Rashawn, go ahead.
Hey, Dorian, congrats on the win. What are the difficulties in trying to prepare for an entirely new defense with just 43 hours, like you said?
Yeah, I mean, and you see it out there on the field too. You know, we think that they're in one look and they're really rolling to another. And so just kind of getting a feel for what they're running in the first couple drives was definitely a tough thing getting going right away. I don't think we had a fast start to this game and for, you know, many reasons. So, yeah, it was definitely difficult just, again, not knowing what they were going to run, especially them not having a game last week either. So, but once we kind of found the rhythm, kind of found what they were going to go, it ended up working out for us. So.
All right, last question here for Dorian. Sam, go ahead.
So Dorian, it was looking like you were going to play on your birthday yesterday. Didn't happen, and then you were hoping that you would have some family here the past few weeks, but that didn't happen. Can you just kind of walk me through these past couple of days in terms of like the emotional highs and lows and kind of what you got out of it and what you wanted?
Yeah, man. My girlfriend and my mom, they flew down for the weekend, and I got to see them all Friday and Saturday. So I was glad to get to spend my birthday with them. I had a couple teammates come over to my apartment, and we celebrated on Friday and just kind of had a little get together and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I was definitely happy and excited to be able to have them at least come and see them before my game. So.
All right, thanks, Dorian. Have a good one.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
All right, thanks, everyone. That'll conclude today's media availability.